Hi, my name is Pam Black. I'm applying to graduate school at Brigham Young University, and I am in Dr. Rice's class on Monday nights at 5 p.m. Dr. Ritchie will be our interviewer for the evening.
All right, Pam. So, want to get to know you a little bit. How about you tell me a little about yourself?
Okay, I was born in Phoenix. I'm the oldest of 3 children. I've been LDS pretty much my whole life. And I studied at a school called Eastern Arizona College before I came to BYU and did well there. I went on a mission to Wisconsin, and while I was there, my last day there, my mission president told me about the communication disorders program, and he was actually friends with Dr. McPherson, who you know.
Love him.
Yes, and so got in contact with Dr. McPherson. He was actually in Europe, but he called me and we talked for like 45 minutes. A couple days after my mission, knew that I'd love the program, and now I'm done. I'm done and applying to graduate school and really excited about this field.
It's great. It's just great. So, if you were going to tell me some of your strengths and weaknesses, what would you say about yourself?
I would say I knew that question was coming. So, some strengths, definitely organized and on top of things. I live and die by my planner, and I think that it's really important to be on time and I'm really good about asking questions if I don't understand things, which I think is very important in graduate school. And I value education, and I really like people. I'm definitely a people person. As far as weaknesses, that's a hard question to answer about yourself, although I think we know our weaknesses best. I would say, while I can be really organized and on top of things, sometimes I just fill my plate too much. And I try to do everything, and I get a little stressed. And I have to learn, continue to learn how to slow down, do the most important things first, and learn how to say no sometimes. Say no to things.
That's a good thing to work on. Yeah, I think we all can relate. So tell me about a time when you had a conflict with a coworker. How did you resolve that?
Last year I worked for the Boys and Girls Club of Utah County here in Provo, and I worked with teenagers ages 13 to 18, so naturally I was the new girl, and they didn't all love me right at first. And I worked with another girl, and she was great. She was good at her job. There were a lot of times when she let them get by with things that we shouldn't have. They broke the rules, and she just kind of wanted to be the cool one, which I totally understood, because they were difficult kids, high risk youth. They definitely could be scary sometimes, and I know that she just wanted to fit in with them. But it was a real problem for me. I could see that I was never going to fit in, never going to be able to be effective as a leader there if we weren't both on the same page. And I resolved that conflict by having a little talk with her, and then we had a meeting, and I came to know that she didn't even know what the rules were. Nobody seemed to establish rules. No one had boundaries for these kids, and they were kind of just out of control. And so we had a big meeting with the director and the director of our site and the director of all the Utah County Boys and Girls Clubs, and they helped us come up with rules. We met with the kids. They came up with rules for themselves and consequences, and it didn't get better right away, no way, but it did improve, and I don't think it would have had I said anything. It would have continued to be miserable for me, and the kids would have done whatever they wanted, and Karina would have continued how she was.
Okay. So, going back to graduate school, How has your education prepared you for graduate school?
My education, I did my undergrad here at BYU too, and this says it's running on reserve power. How much time do I have?
You're okay.
9 minutes. Okay. So doing my undergrad here at BYU, work closely with these professors, able to get to know them, get to know their styles and what area, because as you know, with communication disorders, there's a lot of different places where you can put emphasis on things. You know, we could do medical, we could work in schools, we could have our own private therapy clinic, and so I've really gotten to know each professor and what their strengths were, and that definitely has helped me kind of see where I wanted to go. I don't really want to focus on schools. I do want to work with child language. I think I'd like to spend time in the hospitals and eventually go private. Also, just to know how vast the field is. There's a lot of different opportunities, a lot of things that we know how to solve, and a lot of things that we just do that are maintenance for people with language disorders. Any other questions about that?
Sounds good. Well, there's one more question, and that is not just why did you choose to go to grad school in this area, but why did you choose our program?
Had a lot of different options for graduate school. I'm from Arizona, and ASU was an option, and so are some other schools in Utah, but there's some things about BYU that I love. First of all, I love that it's affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and also that I'm able to study under professors who also have my same faith. I worked a lot with Dr. Britton. I've got to know her really well, and she's someone who, if I could pattern my career like hers, I would love. Able to be a mother and a wife and still do this and have a profound impact on people. Do a lot of research. She's well published, and she travels reporting on her findings and on the different studies that her and her husband have done. And so that's one reason, that the professors teach us in a way that we're able to know you can do this while doing many other things in your life. This won't be the only thing you do, but that you can make an impact in your little corner of the world. That's the first reason. The second is I like the professors. I like the direction. It's a really child language focused program, and that's important to me. That's what I want to study. That's the field that I want to go into.
Yeah, we do have a lot of good professors that are good examples of that. Well, I think that's it for the questions that we have. Or is there anything that you want to go over?
Yeah, I had a few questions. The first was, I noticed as I was researching your program that a thesis is required. Some universities require a thesis or an extra class or two in your class load, but BYU requires a thesis. Can you tell me a little bit about that or why that's required?
Yeah, great question. We would like our students to get involved in some kind of research and to work face to face with the professors, and so having a thesis gets that started.
Yeah, that was another question that I had. How big is the class size? It's really important to me that I'm in a program where I can work one-on-one or close to one-on-one with a professor. And it sounds like doing a thesis means that, would you work one-on-one with a professor if you're doing a thesis?
Yes, you are assigned to a professor, specific professor, so then you're working closely with that professor on some research, and you get a lot of feedback and help from them.
About how big are class sizes?
We have very small classes. Really? We only accept about 12 students in the program every year.
Oh, that is small. Okay, that's great. That's really great.
It's a really great program.
And the last question I had, I've heard that. The last question I have is, I noticed that spring term is offered to students, so I'm graduating in April, and I would be able to start the graduate program in spring.
Mm-hmm.
Is that required? And
that's not required, But you could start in spring if you wanted to, before going into
What are the
fall.
benefits of that?
Good question. Spring term is...
I was talking to another graduate
Nice,
student who got accepted.
Depends.
I was talking to a graduate student who got accepted into the program, and they said, you don't have to start spring, but a good reason to start spring, she did the program last year, so she's in her second year of graduate school now, that if you do it in spring, it just gives you a little jump start to your caseload. You meet your clients earlier.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're able to start working with them, and then you're off for summer and come back in the fall.
Well, there you go. Sounds like you've already done your research for it.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed my time here coming to interview. It's been great.
Thank you. And good luck with everything.
Thanks.